afternoon. Thank you for being here. So my name is Mathieu Latour. I'm in charge of the audio division at NAGRA. NAGRA is a Polish word that means it's recording, and it comes from our roots. Our founder was from Poland, and starting a company that invented portable recorders in '51, and he didn't want to give it his name because he was not sure it would be a success or not. And so he decided to use a generic words that mean it's recording. And today, many people would say I use a NAGRA, and actually sometimes it's a NAGRA and sometimes it's just a recorder. So it became some kind of a generic.
With a Xerox fridge.
Exactly, like fridge or other words. And so NAGRA has been always active in recording area, and we were very popular in the movies, in music recording. So yeah, I always say to people that don't know about NAGRA that actually they've probably heard NAGRA recorded music or film many times, or radio station. So we're in London, and the BBC is one of our customers for many years. So today we also do playback equipment. So for decades, customer of the pro side were enjoying NAGRA, and consumer were asking Mr. Kudelski, our founder, to design playback equipment. And Mr. Kudelski did not want to do playback equipment because he felt that professional recording equipment is something always 100% or 200% performing right. When the customer has the equipment at home, he was not sure it will play right all the time, because in the time of tape alignment and analog, you needed to bias and to maintain the equipment quite often. And today we are lucky because technology has allowed us to go into homes and to have equipment now, digital equipment. You don't really need to align it every now and then. So we are providing playback equipment since 20 years. And we are very happy of the development today with a new line called the HD line for high definition. We introduced this line 3 years ago with the HD DAC, and today we have the successor of the HD DACs called the HD DAC X, which sits here. The idea was that if you look at a TV, it's obvious when you have standard definition and when you have high definition. In sound, as we all know, it's much harder to make the difference, because the whole setup, the room, everything needs to be top level to really make a difference. But from what I hope we will all hear later on, HD really stands for high definition. You will hear much more details, much more sound than you would on a traditional setup. The HiFi division at NAGRA is about 30 employees. We're in Switzerland. 10 of our 30 employees are doing research and development work. So that's a huge proportion of our resources that are spent into research and development and research about sound. There are not so many companies that today do research on sound. That means we do a lot of measurement, we do a lot of simulation of theoretical work, but we also do a lot of listening. We have 3 top-level listening rooms, and we spend many hours, very tough work, listening to music. Or sometimes also just some sound, voice, and we are always trying to connect to live music and musician and voice with actors to always keep track of what's real, how play a cello for real, how piano sounds. But I play drums personally and percussion, so I'm used to live sound of very loud sound actually. So sometimes you think it's the real thing, and you go to a concert and think, maybe that's not exactly how it should be. We have a very strong connection with the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland. The founder of the Jazz Festival was a member of our board when we started the new company in 2012. So we are lucky also to have access to their library, which is part of the UNESCO World Heritage today, but also to concert and live music, because you can get lost in theoretical work behind your desk, and you're alone and you think you're the best, but actually you don't play music, so it's very nice to keep the connection. I'm going to just describe what we have here, and maybe we do some listening. Terry, you brought some music. So the setup we have here actually looks gorgeous. I don't know who made the setup. It's fantastic. The source we have is a CD player. So it's a Redbook CD player connected to the HD DAC X. So the HD DAC X and the HD preamp, let's say, is brother. They are designed with two different chassis. The one here is a power supply that uses supercaps. So it's a bit like having a battery, except it's more stable because the battery, the current will slowly fade out, and you need to recharge it all the time. Here it's a bank of supercaps that are extremely stable and provide a very pure power. They are connected to the part which has the audio inside, so there is absolutely no mains voltage inside the audio part. So we keep away a lot of the troubles, and that's a philosophy we've had since the beginning. So the CD actually is the same, the power supply is external. The HD DAC X, which is the new product we are promoting today, is a dual mono design with tube stage, interstage tube stage. It has amazing performance. I can send you some measurement if you want. But also it's the result of extensive listening sessions to reach something extremely close to what we hear with analog tape or just music. It can play DSD4, or do you say DSD4 here, or you say 256 maybe, or 11.2 megahertz, I don't know, it depends on the country. Or it can play 384 kilohertz, 24 bits, so 384, 82, well, I mean 84, yes. So we have a few customers that use the HD DAC, the previous generation, in studio and mastering. So, because it's as analog as you can be, and that's what I think said Alan Sircom in the UK, that it was very analog for him. I was surprised that was so analog for a converter. The HD preamp then here is our reference preamplifier. It's also a dual mono design, also tube based. So very often people ask us if we are a tube company or a transistor company. We just try to be a music company. So we just select the component that will perform best, whatever we need it to do. The rest of the equipment are, well, I'm happy to see a Synergy here, but I'm not surprised. The SNE Synergy turntable includes a NAGRA phono stage inside. So it's somewhere here. And then we have a NAGRA PSU, which is a scaled down power supply of the HD power supply for our classic line, with the same principle of supercaps. The amplifiers are our flagship amps, the HD amp, and each one is one channel, so we have left and right. And I can see we also have a server from Orender. Don't know if it's connected or not. It is great. Kerry, you want to speak about the speaker?
Sure. The first thing I would do is thank Nintronics for sponsoring the event. I think it's very important that we recognize a shop like this. As the world turns, we're losing more and more brick and mortar stores, not so much in Europe as we are in the US, but it's coming. So it's very important, if for no other reason, for us to thank Nintronics for not only being in existence, but for producing and presenting events like this. I would invite anybody who has any passion for audio, even if you have no hope of ever affording this type of level of gear, to come in and at least hear what's possible, and then to see how close you can get it within your budget. But this is a unique experience to have this type of very limited production gear in a brick and mortar store, so we're fortunate to have access to it. YG Acoustics is a company based in the United States. We're in existence now 16 years. We're at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. We are a relatively small company, much bigger than we started, obviously, and we're now distributed in every corner of the world. We are considered one of the top producers and top performers in the ultra high end of loudspeakers. Our hallmarks are basically everything in the speaker that you see today is made in-house. It comes in as a block, a slab, a rod, a chunk of metal, be that copper, aluminum, stainless steel, and is machined into a part. We are not assemblers of sub-assemblies or outside suppliers. When you come into the factory, it's a big machine shop. It's noisy, it's oily, it's a hardcore machine shop. And it's not the most efficient way of doing things. It's certainly not the least expensive way of doing things, but it's the only way that we can guarantee the precision and quality that we demand. What you're seeing here today is an iteration of our ultimate expression of technology, precision, and passion. This is the Sonya XV in its junior form. There's nothing junior about it. It was just a moniker that was given by one of our dealers who asked for this. This was never intended to be a commercial product. The full XV was, but we had customers who wanted a scaled down version for smaller rooms. And once we produced one, that begat others, and now it's in our product line. We basically make 3 sizes of speakers, small, medium, and large, all made with the same quality, the same high standards, same level of parts, same machinery, the same materials, the raw materials are used to produce it. There's nothing lesser about our small Carmel speaker than this speaker. They're made on the same production lines, and everything is the absolute same quality. It's not inspired by Sonya. These are the same level of parts and the same level of attention to detail that go into it. So basically we make the best two-way floor standing speaker we know how to make. There were no compromises that went into it. Haley is our middle of the line. It's sort of the mid-size speaker. It's an ultra high performer. It's a full range speaker. And then we have Sonya. The uniqueness about Sonya is that it's expandable. You can begin with one module with a dedicated stand, later add a bass module, a third bass module, and then it can be expanded outward into what you see here today. 2 towers per channel in the Sonya XV. The full XV has another bass unit on which these would be stacked. Each of these would have another bass unit. The bass doesn't go any deeper with a full XV, it's just more impact. It moves more air more gently, and that's sort of a value, a good value for those who aspire to the absolute best. Another hallmark of YG Acoustics, aside from its expandability, is its upgradability. Every speaker that we've ever made has been upgradable. And we think that's very important when a customer invests at this level, that investment is protected. That when a new model comes out, that you don't have to sell it for half price and then go back in and start the cycle all over again. We have customers who have taken a 10-year-old model and not only brought it up to current technology, technologically wise, but also cosmetically. That's perhaps an extreme thing to do, but it's not uncommon for us to have customers who continually upgrade. And so we have very loyal customers, not a whole lot of used YGs on the market because customers tend to hold on to those products. If they do change, it's for another model in the YG line. I don't know that there's much else I can tell you other than that this features the billet dome tweeter, which was just awarded a patent. It's a very interesting concept. The notion being that soft dome tweeters generally, and this is perhaps a generalization, have a nice, smooth, and very warm sound compared to perhaps a hard dome tweeter. But the soft dome, the problem is under the tremendous accelerations that are demanded by today's recordings and today's front-end equipment, the acceleration can't keep up on a soft dome. So it tends to roll off at very high frequencies. Hard domes, on the other hand, extend out and they can accelerate very quickly, but they have a ringing at very high frequencies. So our designer, this came to him in the middle of the night. Could I make a soft dome that is supported so that it can exercise those tremendous accelerations? Quick analogy. Imagine a fabric tent, just the fabric. It has no structure whatsoever, no support. The minute you put tent poles in it, you can camp on Mount Everest in a gale force wind, and it'll withstand those forces. That's basically what we've done. In a very crude analogy, we've taken the fabric, put tent poles in it.
Wow.
It's ultra light frame. The experts told us it couldn't be done. That was all the designer needed to hear with that challenge. He was able to do it. It's machined in-house, this airframe. It's a thousandth of an ounce. 30 milligrams is what it weighs. The tolerance on it is 5 microns. Human hair has a width of 75 microns. Yeah. So plus or minus 6 microns, and we've got to discard it. It started out in this model. Then when we were able to make enough of them, because the reject rate, and we'll get better at and optimize the process, was too high for us to supply other than Sonya XV. It's now brought down into Sonya line, and this month we'll introduce a Haley that will include this tweeter. That's all I have for today. I'm available for questions if any of you guys would like to discuss further.
Fascinating. Thank you, Terry. Thank you.